In-form Sussex kept themselves right in the mix for the title after they dominated the opening day of their latest LV County Championship fixture against Middlesex at the Probies County Ground. For the second match in a row as captain, Joyce won the toss and inserted at home to let his bowlers have first crack on what soon appeared to be another speedy track. Chris Rogers survived that but was out in the fourth over of the morning, his attempts to turn a ball from Steve McGoffin to leg backfiring as he was caught by Luke Wright in the gully. Bowler and fielder combined again in McGoffin's next over, Joe Denley the man to go this time as Middlesex slipped to 17 for 2. Sussex have moved into a position to contend the title they won 3 times in the noughties by bowling their opponents out cheaply with a mix of aggression and skill, and the likes of McGoffin and James Anyon were not making life easy now, although Sam Robson was able to find the fence on occasions. Amjad Khan replaced Anyon and beat David Milan for pace, the batsman fortunate that the ball didn't end up landing on his stumps after he was whacked in the midriff. Milan was soon ready to go again and started to make batting look a little more comfortable against Wright. Steadily, as the ball softened just a bit, batting seemed to become a tad easier for both Milan and Robson. But Khan was to have a tremendous day, starting with the wicket of Milan, who edged to Joyce, the man who played for a decade at Middlesex. Khan struck again in his next over, finding a bit of bounce to have Robson taken in the slips by Michael Yardy for 24. And then, with his next ball, Khan had Neil Dexter caught behind to a shot he clearly wasn't too pleased with. Joyce had got absolutely everything right in his first official game in charge of this side, and with Khan now really pumped up, the first morning of this game was belonging to him and his confident team. They had Middlesex 6 down by lunch, John Simpson the 6th to go as a diving Yardy snaffled him off right with a total on 65. McGoffin was back on after the break, and again he caused plenty of problems for the visiting batsman. He had Gareth Berg dropped by Yardy, not an easy chance even for a top slipper like the former Sussex skipper. That left it to Khan to break a 7th wicket stand of 54, ex-Sussex man Ollie Rayner with the nick behind. He'd returned to Hove and made 32. Khan was now unstoppable, and when Berg on 19 edged him to Yardy, he completed his second 5-wicket haul of the summer. When the fast boys have done their stuff, Joyce can call upon the expertise of Monty Panesar, who came on and trapped Toby Rowland-Jones in front to make sure that not all 10 wickets were going to be with Snicks behind the stumps. So that left it to the number 10 Tim Murtagh to be Middlesex's top scorer. He hit Panesar for a maximum in his 34. But Middlesex were all out in 57 overs when Murtagh had his middle stump fractured by McGoffin. They were all out for 170, with Khan claiming 5 for 25, his best figures of the season. With a low score on the board, Middlesex now needed to fight back, but Joyce was dropped early on in the slips off Murtagh, and that proved to be a costly mistake. Joyce has scored 98 and 100 in his last 2 championship innings, and he was soon reminding the bowlers of the kind of form he's in at the moment, with some typically fine shots all around the wicket against all of the bowlers. His new role as captain has simply increased his talent, it seems. He put on 37 with Chris Nash for the first wicket. Nash on 11 then edged the ball from Berg, which lifted on him to Simpson behind the stumps. With Warwickshire by now winners in their latest game to open up a gap at the top of the championship table, Sussex knew that they had to strike while they were firmly on top of this game, and Luke Wells now joined Joyce to take the total to 63. But then Middlesex grabbed 2 important wickets in successive overs. Wells edged Berg to Dexter, and Murray Goodwin fell for a single as he tried to duck out of the way of a well-disguised slower ball from Rowland-Jones, LBW the decision. At 64 for 3, the game was back in the balance, but then captains old and new combined to ensure that this opening day very much belonged to the home side. Both Joyce and Yardy worked the ball around well on a glorious late afternoon by the seaside. Well, it was glorious for all but the Middlesex players, who were perhaps seeing their own title aspirations slip from their grasp. By the time stumps were drawn late in the day, Joyce had moved effortlessly onto 49, with Yardy on 24 after more than an hour together. So Sussex go into day 2 on 106 for 3, which leaves them only 64 runs behind, As with their last game here, a big win over Worcestershire, they will now want to use the second day to bat their side into a winning position.